Hurricane Irene, 2005. Hurricane Irene was a long-lived tropical cyclone during the 2005 Atlantic hurricane season. The storm formed near Cape Verde on August 4th and crossed the Atlantic, turning northward around Bermuda before being absorbed by an extratropical cyclone while situated in the southeast of Newfoundland. Irene proved to be a difficult storm to forecast due to the oscillations in strength. After almost dissipating on August 10th, Irene peaked as a Category 2 hurricane on August 16th. Irene persisted for 14 days as a tropical system, the longest duration of any storm of the 2005 season. It was the 9th named storm and 4th hurricane of the record-breaking season. Although there were initial fears of a landfall in the United States due to uncertainty in predicting the storm's track, Hurricane Irene never approached land and caused no recorded damage. However, swells up to 8 feet, 2.4 meters, and strong rip currents resulted in one fatality in Long Beach, New York. Meteorological history. Hurricane Irene began as a Cape Verde storm. A vigorous tropical wave moved off the west coast of Africa on August 1st, initially weakening due to cooler area sea surface temperatures. It moved westward and passed near Cape Verde, where convection started to increase. The system subsequently developed into a tropical depression on the afternoon of August 4th, 690 miles, 1,100 kilometers, southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. Early on August 5th, the depression abruptly turned to the northwest into an area of higher wind shear, causing some computer models to predict that the depression would dissipate, while others predicted steady strengthening. The sudden threat to the storm's existence prompted the National Hurricane Center forecaster Lixian Avila to comment, "How little we know about the genesis of tropical cyclones." Despite the unfavorable conditions in its vicinity and its poor organization, Tropical Depression 9 continued to strengthen, becoming Tropical Storm Irene on August 7th. The earliest information date for the 9th storm in the Atlantic Basin at the time, beating the previous record held by a storm in the 1936 season by 13 days. This record stood until surpassed by Hurricane Isaias in 2020. Because Irene was in an environment laden with dry air and high shear, it soon weakened to a tropical depression on August 8th. On the morning of August 10th, as it was passing north of the Lesser Antilles, Irene nearly dissipated into a remnant low. But forecasters predicted with very low confidence that the storm would survive. Contrary to these expectations, warmer waters and less wind shear allowed Irene to become gradually more organized while south of Bermuda, and it became a tropical storm once again, early on August 11th. Due to the uncertainties about how the region's tropical ridge would interact with Irene, the models continued to give unclear signals of the storm's future. Some of the models predicted that Irene would make landfall in North Carolina, while others continued to anticipate that Irene would dissipate. The uncertainty ended when a weakness in the subtropical ridge allowed Irene to turn sharply northward, which caused the storm to pass midway between the outer banks of North Carolina and Bermuda on August 15th. Soon after, upper-level shear weakened greatly, and Irene rapidly intensified. First to a hurricane, then to its peak strength as 105 miles an hour, 170 kilometers per hour, Category 2 hurricane on the afternoon of August 16th, while located 350 miles, 560 kilometers, northeast of Bermuda. At the same time, it also attained minimum pressure of 970 millibar. Though NHC meteorologists thought it was likely that Irene would become a hurricane, they were not expecting an intensification of such a magnitude. Irene entered a region of increased wind shear and began to weaken. and as a result, it was downgraded to a tropical storm early on August 18th when it was 520 miles, 830 kilometers, south of Cape Race, Newfoundland. All convection within 230 miles, 370 kilometers, of the cyclone dissipated on August 18th. Irene was subsequently absorbed by an extratropical cyclone later that day. Irene lasted for 14 days as a tropical storm, the longest duration of any storm of the 2005 season. Impact. As Hurricane Irene stayed well away from land, no coastal warnings of watches were issued for it. Despite Irene's long life, there were no reports of tropical storm-force winds affecting ships. There was no damage as a result of Irene. However, the hurricane generated strong waves and increased the risk of rip currents during the east coast of the United States. Many beaches in New Jersey restricted swimming activities, and lifeguards at one beach performed more than 100 rescues over a 3-day period. Waves along the coastline of New York reached 4 to 8 feet, 1.2 to 2.4 meters. A 16-year-old boy drowned after being caught in a rip current near Long Beach, New York on August 14th. His body was recovered on August 16th after washing ashore.